I'm Peter White, and for the past 30 years or more, I've been a radio and television presenter with the BBC. This for me is my absolute dream job, and I think it demonstrates that these days, with the right support, there's very little blind people can't do. That's what this film sets out to do, through the lives of a blind and a partially sighted person leading rich and full lives. It's been made by the Hampshire Advocacy Group, and it's part of their mission to demonstrate that with the right help and the right understanding, blind people can do almost anything.
Open your eyes. What do you see? This is Steve Geary. Since a virus attacked his optic nerve at the age of 23, he has been left with only peripheral vision. Julie Duffy has no sight, yet with help from her guide dog Marble, she enjoys life as a truly independent working mother. There are many varying degrees of sight loss. This film will show how both the blind and partially sighted cope with tasks at home, in the workplace and at leisure, tasks which would normally be accomplished without conscious effort. We will discover some of the problems they face in everyday life and how, even though electronic aids are available, they still rely heavily on simple solutions and the use of their remaining senses. Waking up is the easy part. Even putting toothpaste onto a brush presents difficulties for people with poor sight. Steve judges the right amount by holding both tube and brush close to his mouth. Identifying and colour matching clothes can be made easier by having shaped buttons sewn inside. Those with some useful sight can then use illuminated magnifying mirrors to check their appearance, while others refer to a partner or a neighbour. Even making hot drinks is possible, where both hearing and touch combine to check that the liquid is at the right level. And talking or braille watches are a necessity when you lead a busy lifestyle. Independence is as important to the visually impaired as anyone else. Getting about on your own requires an acute awareness of one's location and any present dangers. The challenge of crossing a road is one example. While Steve is led by the tactile paving underfoot, Marble guides Julie to the crossing. However, it is not the guide dog but the owner that must decide when it is safe to cross, so the audible beeps are essential, as are the rotating buttons for use by deaf-blind people. Roadworks too are an ever-present danger, where the importance of clearly marked barriers cannot be overstated. With unpredictable footings and the possibility of being forced into oncoming traffic, people with poor sight have 10 times the risk of an accident. Heightened use of hearing and smell are a great help in establishing one's location, but yet more hazards lie in wait. It is common to use familiar routes when vision is impaired, but even then one can be put at risk by badly parked cars or changes in the location of street furniture. Those with good vision wouldn't see this wheelie bin as a hazard, but with a lack of contrast between it and the street, this is how it might appear to someone with cataracts. To catch the right bus or alight at the correct stop, one would usually have to ask for help. Getting on and off the bus can be a problem too, but drop-level buses like this one greatly minimise the risk by lowering to the curbside. When it comes to shopping, a small trader is often the preferred choice, as it is easy to ask for exactly what you want. But with prior arrangement, most supermarkets will now provide a personal shopping assistant to accompany visually impaired people around the store. The application of braille labels provides a means of identifying the products purchased. Alternatively, shopping on the internet using accessibility software allows real choice and the convenience of home delivery.
This train terminates here.
Travel by rail presents some of the most hazardous and demanding situations for people with poor sight. Potential for lethal falls is not helped by the lack of tactile warning underfoot, but many improvements are being made which other businesses would do well to take note of. With advance notice, staff can be on hand to offer assistance in boarding the train, and modern mobility carriages have been thoughtfully designed to accommodate all types of disabilities.
Thanks very much.
There is a high contrast decor and large braille buttons on all the doors. Cramped toilet compartments have also been replaced by large disabled facilities.
Welcome to the Southwest train service.
At times it may be difficult to hear the announcements, in which case counting stations or asking others may be necessary. Knowing which side to exit always used to be a problem, but now audible warnings come from the correct side of the carriage, where a flashing braille button will open the doors. Judging the gap to the platform has been made easier, but any assistance should still give clear and simple instructions to ensure a safe footing. Steve Geary uses his experience of sight loss in his work as a patient support officer at Southampton Eye Clinic. Unable to read this handwritten note, he scans it using a video magnifier. After talking with patients about their eye problems, Steve provides them with literature in an accessible format, in this case large print.
Start menu open.
The Department of Employment's Access to Work scheme provides Steve with Zoom text software.
Zoom text user input.
This allows areas of the computer screen to be magnified and read back to him in artificial speech. Julie is employed by a Portsmouth library, also providing support services for the visually impaired.
Take your telephone number and get you some information, and then I'll get back to you.
She uses a variety of equipment in her work, such as this braille typewriter for taking messages over the phone.
Hello Julie, I wondered whether you might be able to get some...
As part of her library duties, Julie translates useful documents into braille.
Adult learners will...
Handwritten notes have to be dictated to her, as scanning software is not always reliable. In this case, she is using a modern braille note electronic notebook. Like much of her equipment, this has also been provided by the Access to Work scheme. Typed newsletters may be scanned and read back to her using software such as JAWS or Kurzweil 1000. These can then be output directly to braille using special printers such as this.